It began with a letter, a polite one, brief, respectful, almost forgettable. The kind of letter a busy politician might set aside and never think of again. It asked for something simple, a single day, a day of gratitude, a national Thanksgiving. But the man who opened it, the President of the United States, ignored it. So did the next president, and the next, and the next. For decades, the request sat unanswered, while the woman who wrote it refused to give up. This is the story of how one quiet voice reshaped a nation, and how Thanksgiving, the holiday Americans now take for granted, almost never existed at all. It started long before turkey, parades, or football. In the early 1800s, Thanksgiving was a patchwork of observances. Some states celebrated it, others didn't. Some held it in October, some in November, and some not at all. It was a holiday in spirit, but not in law, a tradition with no national home. But one woman believed it should be. She wasn't a politician. She wasn't wealthy. She didn't hold any public office. She didn't even have the right to vote. Yet she believed that a country so often divided needed a day to come together. And so she wrote. Her first letters, dozens of them, were sent to governors, urging them to mark the same day for Thanksgiving. Many ignored her. A few agreed, but most treated the idea as unnecessary. Still, she kept writing. She began publishing essays, passionate, eloquent pieces arguing that a national Thanksgiving could strengthen the young nation. She sent petitions. She used every connection she had. She leaned on her one great advantage, her pen. It became her mission, her life's work, and her quiet obsession. Year after year, she pushed. President after president dismissed her. One administration claimed it was a state matter. Another failed to respond entirely. Another said the country had more important concerns. But the woman behind the letters did not stop. Not through wars, not through political upheaval, not through the countless rejections that would have broken anyone else. 36 years passed. 36 years of letters, articles, and pleas. 36 years of frustration and hope. 36 years of a single idea that refused to die. And then, in the fall of 1863, the letters finally landed on the desk of a president who desperately needed the idea she'd been fighting for. The United States was in the middle of the Civil War. Families were divided. States were in ruins. The future of the nation, its very existence, hung in the balance. The president needed unity. He needed a symbol, something the weary country could cling to. And that's when he read her words. He didn't just respond. He agreed. On October 3, 1863, the president issued a proclamation asking Americans, all Americans, to pause on the same day and give thanks. It was the first time Thanksgiving was officially set on a national scale. For the first time, the holiday belonged to the entire country. Historians now say her influence was undeniable. Her letters, her essays, her advocacy were the reason Thanksgiving finally found its place on the American calendar. But here's the twist. Almost no one knew her name. She never held a press conference. She never asked for credit. She never stood on a stage or accepted an award. She simply kept writing until the nation listened. Sarah Josepha Hale, a magazine editor, a poet, a widow raising 5 children, and the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb. But her greatest legacy wasn't a nursery rhyme. It was a national holiday, born from persistence, carved from patience, and delivered by a woman who believed that gratitude could bind a nation together. A woman whose voice was quiet, but whose impact echoes every November. Because of her, families gather. Because of her, we pause to give thanks. Because of her, an entire country shares one day, the day she spent most of her life fighting for. All from a letter, a simple letter that changed everything. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.